Many do not know the tension between Jungkook and HYBE did not arise suddenly. It all started with a simple decision, Jungkook's personal decision to take the direction of his own global promotion. He began to appear more often outside the BTS promotion system, opting for more personal projects, such as fashion collaborations with Calvin Klein and appearing in international media without HYBE's typical narrative. At first, this was considered a reasonable experiment. However, the results were surprising. Jungkook's every move created a viral wave, while other artists' campaigns orchestrated by HYBE tended to go flat. This makes many within the company begin to question, are they still in full control of their largest assets? HYBE is known for its strict control over artists, from style of speech, public behavior, to social media content. But Jungkook flips all those rules. He posts in a relaxed style, without corporate filters, and that is precisely what makes him feel authentic in the eyes of the world. Fans felt they were looking at a human being, not an entertainment product. And therein lies the problem, because the bigger Jungkook's man in the public eye, the smaller the role of the system that created him. In the business world, that can be bad news for those who are used to managing an image. But for the entertainment world, it's a revolution. For a company as big as HYBE, uncertainty is the main enemy. They live by planning, calendars, and long-term strategies. But Jungkook is an unpredictable enigma. She can show up at the airport in casual style and make the whole world talk about her outfit for a week. It can be silent for months, then appear once on social media and create a global trend. No pattern can be mapped out. And this is what makes HYBE even more unsettled. Internal analysts began to refer to this phenomenon as the Jungkook effect, a domino effect that the official schedule could not control. Every time Jungkook does something, even the smallest thing of changing his hairstyle, the world reacts. But each of those reactions, while bringing great popularity, also changed the direction of media focus from HYBE's strategy to Jungkook's individual phenomenon. In business, it's a complicated situation. On the one hand, they benefit because the BTS name remains relevant thanks to Jungkook. But on the other hand, Jungkook's growing freedom means there's less room for the company to steer the narrative. In several internal reports leaked to the public, it was mentioned that some executives even felt threatened by Jungkook's independence. But in fact, how can they resist someone whose presence has already created history outside the boundaries of the system? Jungkook isn't fighting, he's just living as himself, and the world loves him for it. One thing that made HYBE even more difficult to control the situation was the strength of the global ARMY community. Jungkook's fans now have a much bigger voice than before. They are not only spectators, but also opinion movers, promoters, and analysts. When HYBE tries to steer a particular narrative, for example by highlighting the projects of other groups or artists, global fans quickly detect the pattern and shift the focus back to Jungkook. In a matter of hours, hashtags containing support for him could dominate trending in 20 countries. Not only does this show incredible loyalty, but it's also proof that narrative control is no longer in the agency's hands. The world is already open, and information is spreading too fast to be curated. Fans were even quicker to analyze Jungkook's move than his own management. They know when he will appear, why he chooses a particular brand, even read his body expressions in interviews. HYBE is now facing the fact that their artists have become a social phenomenon that transcends corporate boundaries. It no longer belongs to one business entity, but to the world. And ironically, that's exactly what makes Jungkook's value even higher. Amidst all this euphoria and chaos, there is one big question that keeps spinning in everyone's head. What is HYBE's next move? Will they try to tighten control over Jungkook, or will allowing his freedom be part of a new strategy? In the history of the entertainment industry, moments like this often become turning points. Many big companies lose their biggest artists because they can't adjust to the times. But there are also those who actually grow stronger because they dare to change. Jungkook is now at the center of that dilemma. He is not just an idol, but an icon of a generation that demands authenticity in a world full of imagery. And HYBE inevitably has to learn from Jungkook, not just direct him. Because if they keep imposing the old system, they will not only lose control, but lose relevance. Today's world doesn't need corporate perfection. The world wants to see real people, and Jungkook has proven that sincerity is stronger than any strategy. So, as his popularity chart continues to climb, maybe HYBE already knows the answer. Control doesn't always mean power. Sometimes, letting someone shine in their own way is the most brilliant strategy. Jungkook is no longer just an idol waiting for instructions. He has become a global symbol who understands the direction of his own career. The spontaneous action became a symbolic moment, as if he said without words, "I know what I'm doing." In the Korean entertainment world, which is known for its strict agency system, such a move almost never happens. Jungkook broke the pattern, and ironically, the violation actually strengthened his image. The media in America panned him as the artist who outgrew his system. HYBE herself is rumored to be split into two camps. Some are amazed at her courage, others are worried about the domino effect she will have on other artists. But the result? Jungkook proved that the courage to take control not only works, but also creates waves that change the map of the industry. The world reacted. HYBE wasn't ready for the explosion. A few hours after Jungkook performed without a plan, cyberspace caught fire. The hashtag number Jungkook takes control broke the global trend within 30 minutes. International media outlets like Rolling Stone, Billboard, and Vogue wrote articles almost simultaneously, all highlighting one thing. Jungkook is no longer just a K-pop star, he is an entity capable of shaking up the global entertainment system. In Korea, HYBE immediately held an emergency meeting that night. Some employees who leaked the atmosphere said the room was like a mixture of amazement and concern. Some executives even replayed the video of Jungkook's performance many times to make sure what was really going on because it all felt like a dream. They knew that the appearance was not only viral, but paradigm-shifting. Jungkook managed to convey a veiled message through his stage act. That creative control should return to the hands of artists, not just corporations. Fans around the world welcomed him enthusiastically. They see Jungkook as a symbol of artistic freedom. While at internal HYBE, rumors grew that some internal producers felt skipped. But one fact is indisputable. What Jungkook did produced a greater promotional effect than any paid campaign. It broke streaming records, scored unexpected merchandise sales, and boosted BTS's global popularity even without the agency's official orders. Entertainment industry analysts called Jungkook's move a turning point that may change the structure of the relationship between idol and Korean entertainment companies in the future. A few weeks after the incident, the effect began to be felt. American media began to refer to Jungkook as the new blueprint for Asian artists. He appeared on major talk shows, was invited by international brands without involving HYBE directly. Even some endorsement contracts began to come directly to Jungkook's personal team rather than through his agency's headquarters. And that's where the problem starts to grow. HYBE is reportedly trying to renegotiate the boundaries of cooperation. especially regarding promotional rights and image control. However, the public is already on his side. They see Jungkook as a figure who grew out of the system and now challenge him elegantly. "He's not fighting back," wrote one Guardian columnist, "he's just showing that the system is outdated." Entertainment business analysts consider that HYBE is now in a difficult position. If they put pressure on Jungkook, they risk losing global goodwill. But if they let him, they will lose control of their most valuable asset. But interestingly, Jungkook himself did not show a confrontational attitude. In some interviews, he simply said, "I want to make music and perform in my own way." Simple sentence, but the meaning is deep. He knows his place, not only as an artist, but as a representation of a new generation that wants to write his story without being locked up by the old rules. The world sees Jungkook not just as a star, but as a symbol of transformation in the modern entertainment industry. A few months later, after the media storm began to subside, HYBE secretly did something surprising. They revised its internal creative management structure. Rumor has it that the move was directly inspired by the Jungkook incident. Now, every artist is given the space to submit a personal project without having to go through a long approval chain like they used to. And you know what? Jungkook is the main reason. He proved that spontaneity, creativity, and courage can create results that go beyond any corporate strategy. For fans, however, this story is more than just an individual victory. This is the story of how a young boy from Busan, who once only wanted to sing, now becomes a figure who changes the power dynamics in the global entertainment industry. HYBE may have disagreed at first, but now they have to admit Jungkook is not just their artist. He is a worldwide phenomenon. And whether you realize it or not, it was a move that was once considered unplanned, that actually opened a new chapter in modern K-pop history. Jungkook doesn't just take over everything. He taught the entire entertainment world that sometimes the boldest decisions are the ones that no one other than yourself agrees with. When Jungkook's video of Jin's concert began circulating around the world, none of the parties in HYBE were prepared for the magnitude of the viral effect. At first, they thought it was just a sweet moment between members, just a form of support between two friends who have been fighting together for a long time. But in a matter of hours, the entire internet shook. The footage in which Jungkook stood in the center of the stage spotlight, paying an emotional tribute to Jin, suddenly became a bigger symbol than just the group's reunion. American media wrote, "He didn't just perform, he reignited a global emotion." As the world held up that moment as one of the most influential performances of the year, HYBE began to realize that something had moved beyond their control. The public not only highlighted Jin's concert, but Jungkook's presence brought a different atmosphere, free, bold, and as if no longer following their usual management patterns. Many entertainment analysts say the public's reaction to Jungkook's appearance marks a major paradigm shift, that idols are now able to build global momentum without agency intervention. And for HYBE, that means one thing. They no longer have sole control over their own artist narrative. Brief appearance, but change the global narrative. Interestingly, Jungkook actually only performed less than 10 minutes at the concert. But somehow, those 10 minutes felt like a new chapter in K-pop history, as she took the stage, dressed in an all-black outfit with a simple but elegant cut. The audience's cameras immediately hunted her from various angles. No official announcement. No introduction from the MC. Suddenly he appeared, and the world stopped for a moment. As soon as he started singing, the audience simultaneously turned on their phones, and within seconds, thousands of videos began streaming onto social media. Twitter, TikTok to American news media such as Entertainment Tonight immediately re-uploaded the moment. There was something in the way Jungkook looked at the audience that night, calm, yet full of emotional energy. He not only supported Jin, but seemed to be confirming to the whole world that he had stepped to a different level. And most interestingly, the appearance was not part of any promotional strategy. No new single releases, no sponsors, no contracts. It's all pure spontaneity, and that's what the public is falling for even more. Many judge the aura of unplanned is what makes the moment feel honest, human, and real. Ironically, it was precisely that sincerity that made Jungkook return to the global spotlight. HYBE panicked, but the world praised Jungkook's courage. As soon as he saw the incredible explosion of social media, HYBE's internal party immediately moved quickly. They held a lightning meeting that very evening, trying to understand how a seemingly simple situation could turn into a global phenomenon. There were reports that some managers felt out of step because they didn't know Jungkook would come and perform like that. But, on the other hand, communication directors know perfectly well this is not a disaster. This is a golden opportunity. It's just that the opportunity came without control. In the international media, Jungkook is referred to as the unstoppable force of K-pop. An artist who, even without an official plan, is able to create a global impact. Many entertainment journalists wrote that HYBE seemed helpless in the face of their own invented greatness. Jungkook, the artist they formed from scratch, now has a gravity of his own, capturing the world's attention in a way that no one can control. HYBE begins to realize that this is the risk of having a star as big as Jungkook. He is too big to limit, but too valuable to let go. And the world? The world just watched, marveled, and immortalized that moment as one of the most memorable of the year. The moment was a turning point. The world of entertainment is no longer the same. After Jin's concert ended, the wave of effects from Jungkook's act continued. The global media began to revisit his entire career, from a young trainee to an international icon who can now even shake up the market without a marketing strategy. Billboard wrote that Jungkook is a vivid example of a new generation of artists who don't need an agency to determine when they shine. Even big brands like Calvin Klein and Apple Music started using clips from the genie's concerts as visual references in their campaigns. He carries authenticity that brands can't buy, wrote the New York Times. Meanwhile, in internal HYBE, serious discussions began. They should review the relationship between the artist and the corporate system. Jungkook indirectly forced the industry to adapt, opening up a greater space for spontaneity and personal expression. Many other entertainment companies in Korea have even begun to emulate this move, giving their artists greater freedom, hoping to emulate the Jungkook effect. But despite many attempts, no one has been able to create the same miracle, because in the end, it's not just that moment that makes it special, but Jungkook's courage to step in without a script and make sincerity the most viral force in modern entertainment.